Hello, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising. Welcome to my channel. It is such a blessing to be here with you for your January 2024 Tarotscope. I'm so very grateful for the opportunity to connect with you. In the description box below, you will find links to information on personal readings, the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram, and ways to support the work I do here if you would like to explore any of those options. You will also find a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. Please do keep in mind this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so use your discernment and take only what resonates. If you find that something shared does resonate with you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Comment below and or share this content, as it tells YouTube that there may be something valuable here for someone else, which is a gift to both this channel and to others as well. And I greatly, greatly appreciate that support. January kicks off 2024, a number 8 year, encouraging us to step into our personal power, to have faith in our own abilities, and to use them to their highest potential. These are some of the themes that we'll be exploring for this month's Tarotscope, looking at your overall energy, what new level of power and inner strength is being ignited from within you, what's gaining momentum for you, and getting some advice or messages to best support and serve you and your journey moving forward. If you have been here before, this month's Tarotscope may look just a bit different than what you may be used to. I'm actually only going to be using oracle cards for this Tarotscope. I do have tarot out in the case that I need some additional clarity, but this is something that I really do enjoy doing and do probably more often than I think I do on my membership channel. So Scorpio, let's dive in and see what January is bringing for you. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Christ, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us about the overall energy of January 2024 for Scorpio, please. All right. Just the one. That's pretty interesting, Scorpio. I'm pretty sure you're the first sign to have just one card there. Okay, tell us please, what new level of power and inner strength is being ignited from within Scorpio this month, January 2024? Okay. Thank you. Tell us please, what's gaining momentum for Scorpio this month? All right, here, this one and this one as well. Thank you. And tell us please, what advice or messages will best support? Yep, okay. There are your messages. All right, Scorpio, the overall energy for you for January 2024, we have breathe. This is the number 29. You know, it's interesting because there have been several signs that have got this card. I do feel that a majority of this, Scorpio, is for you to come back to your center. For some of you, I feel as though there may have been some deep dives within yourself. I feel like this was something that has come through for you recently, perhaps in the December Tarotscope. But even if this is occurring through the month of January, I really feel that you may have learned quite a bit about yourself. I feel like you may have experienced some turbulence, some things that really did kind of require you to do a deep dive, to go within yourself and to really kind of see things for what they are. Perhaps you've had some truths that have been exposed or have come to the surface that maybe you weren't seeing before. And it almost feels like there are two potential energies coming through, two potential threads that may resonate with you. One of these, I feel, is that this could be a month for you of just kind of letting everything sink in, and really just breathing, right? Um, Coming back to your center, really letting things integrate. And I feel like taking the opportunity to breathe really is allowing you to process, perhaps this deep dive that you may have gone through or will be going through this month. On the other side of this, I feel as though if you're someone who's still kind of experiencing this, or perhaps, have these things that have come through, I feel as though this could be an energy for you to actually take the time to breathe, to come back to center. I'm very drawn to her hand placement. If you can see that, how she's, got her hands like this in the center of her body. And I really feel this is speaking to bringing yourself back to center. Breath work may be helpful, which that has been coming up in several of the signs for this month as well. But I do feel that regardless of whether or not this is something that you have already been going through or something that just kind of takes off in the month of January, I feel as though it almost feels like once January passes, you may find things get lighter, where you feel as though you are able to breathe. Okay. 29 reduces to 11, and 11 is certainly, something that's talked about often in the spiritual world, or the spiritual communities. 11 is a master number, and it is one of, for whatever reason, I'm getting this energy of building. As I'm speaking about this, I'm getting this energy of building, and I feel as though this could be building some foundations for you moving forward, which you have experienced. Otherwise, I feel like it's really opening doors for you potentially, even if they are simply just emotional doors, even if they're just doors of awareness. Okay, if you look here around her head, if you can see that, I apologize for the glare, but if you can see that, there's this almost like this light around her head, and I feel like that is speaking to the illumination that you've gained, the awareness that you've gained, or will be gaining through this month. So very interesting overall energy for you. Certainly it is probably, going to be very empowering, to, discover certain things about yourself and to integrate them into your way of being. But there is also a message here of, if you find yourself in this state of overwhelm, or like the way I'm kind of seeing it is, kind of sinking beneath the waters that are essentially you, there's that reminder to just come back and breathe. Just come back and breathe. And again, breath work may be helpful for you. All right, you have a nice little stack of cards here, looking at what new level of power and strength is being ignited from within you. We do have here the Mentor in the upright or light attribute position, passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. It's interesting, Scorpio, because I do feel like there are things that you have learned and gained, or will learn and gain through the month of January. And I do feel like these are things that you are, essentially trying to pass on or to plant seeds for in your circles. Perhaps this is with your person, your friend, your family, whatever it is, but it feels as though what you have gained, what you have learned, what you've now become aware of has become so perhaps empowering to you, or has illuminated you so that you want others to have a similar experience. You want others, or would love for others to be able to how do I say, how do I, okay, so it feels like, pardon me, you guys, I apologize. Um, it feels like whatever you've gained and learned has really provided for you some sense of self, some sense of almost freedom to some point or another. And I feel like this is coming from once you gain a certain level of knowledge or awareness about something and you understand it, there's a certain level of freedom or liberation that comes because we're so weighted down by what we don't understand, right? We can go in circles in our mind and our emotions can get all, worked up and things like this. And once we have or can grasp certain things, there's a lightness that comes with that, a certain sense of freedom. And I feel like this is something that you would love to be able to share with others, that you would love for others to be able to experience for themselves, that freedom, that lightening, that liberation. And I feel like this may be why there's this kind of confidence, if you will, that is coming forward where you feel called to share these things, where you feel called to pass on that wisdom, right? So I feel, in some ways, there's a confidence that's building, a confidence that's being ignited from within you, moving a little bit further out of the student arena, if you will, and into the mentor arena, right? Leveling up. And that's not to say that you'll feel like that in all areas of your life, or that you're going to feel like you have everything figured out. But certainly I feel as though there could be this, how do I say, there could be this feeling around some things. And, again, I feel like you may be feeling called to share that because I feel like it's empowered you and you want to empower others. I feel like there's almost, yes, something I feel that's being ignited from within you is this passion for what you've now discovered. Yeah, look at this. You also have, so you have the mentor, Scorpio, and now the guide as well. I feel like there's a whole new level of self that has been met. I feel as though there's this beautiful growth, right? It does say here in the light attribute or upright position, represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. So for some of you, you may have found God. And I believe in your December 2023 Tarotscope, there was this message that was coming through of, that calling to God, or feeling, like you wanted to perhaps develop a stronger relationship, or God wanted a stronger relationship with you, something of that nature. And I do feel that for some of you, this has given you a new level of confidence, a new feeling of empowerment. And I feel like it has, how do I, you guys, this is something very difficult for me to describe. It doesn't matter how many times I run into this. It doesn't ever get easier, I feel, to describe. And unless you've experienced it for yourself, I don't feel like words do it justice by any means whatsoever. But once you have felt God moving in your life, or you've experienced something that brings God forward, maybe you call it source or universe, regardless, I call it God, so I'm going to use that term, but insert whatever resonates with you there. Once you experience it for yourself, there really is nothing like it, and there really is like no going back. That's not to say that you won't falter in your faith. That's not to say that sometimes it'll be easier than others to really feel that divine connection, but I feel like for some of you, you have experienced this to some degree or another, and I feel like it's empowered you. I feel like it has really ignited a new level for you, something that I feel for some of you, you're very passionate about at this point. And I feel like this is coming from, to some degree or another, the depth that you may have been looking for. Okay, so for example, perhaps you have experiences with church or religious practices or something of this nature, and perhaps it just kind of fizzled out for you or really didn't keep your attention, or something like that, because it wasn't deep enough. And whatever has taken place here or will take place here for you, I feel like it goes deep. I feel like it is like God reaching in and like wrapping its hands around your heart and really is just taking it to a whole new level. Right? I feel like that personal experience is what made it deep enough. And I feel like that was something that could not be provided in a, let's say, a more, surface level experience. And that's nothing against, those who enjoy church or, other religions or things like this. It's just that I feel like I relate to this because in my own experience, church didn't really do it for me. It really didn't give me that deeper understanding. I'm a very deep individual, and so those more exoteric things just really don't cut it for me. It's not satisfying, it's not fulfilling. And once I got more into esoteric Christianity, that is when I really, really developed this very deep connection with God. So I feel like for some of you, maybe this is something you've stumbled across. Perhaps it's not even anything that you have studied intentionally or, anything like that, but maybe it's just the experience in itself of feeling God in your own life that has provided this depth for you. And I feel like this is something that is, I mean, for some of you this month, it feels like it is blazing. Like it doesn't feel like it's just some embers burning, though that could also be true. I feel like there's this very powerful flame that has been lit within you, around God or the divine, more a deeper spiritual connection. And again, I now feel as though for some of you, there is this calling to share that with other people, to plant seeds, not to force it upon anyone, because I feel like that you can't do that. Okay, there may have been people in your life, and I think I've said this to you also before. There may have been people in your life that were planting seeds, and you may have rejected that. You may have, felt uncomfortable with it or something like that. And it took, developing, or rather those seeds actually coming to fruition, if you will, or having these experiences, these personal experiences yourself. It took that happening in order for it to really, how do I say, create some kind of movement within you around that. But I do feel as though there's a certain level of awareness or understanding around the wisdom and the light that is provided through that divine connection, through allowing the divine to be a guide in your life, right? We also, you guys, this is incredible. We also have here the gambler in the upright or light attribute position, willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you. I mean, that speaks so very loudly to me about this willingness to, just let God move in your life and to trust God and to have faith. And again, this isn't always easy, okay? And again, we do falter. It just happens, okay? But I do feel that there's something within you that has put you in a position where you're like, when I do this, my life feels so much easier. Things flow so much easier, even if there are challenges, even if there are obstacles, even if there's fear, right? Even if it's not easy. it just seems so much easier than what it once was, right? Even if you're being asked to put in work, even if you're being asked to do things that make you uncomfortable, it still feels so much easier. I'm actually being led also back to this breathe card because I feel like for some of you, this whole unfolding can give you the opportunity to breathe. And for some of you, I feel like it's like the first time in your life that you felt like you're not holding your breath. For some of you, there's this deep reverence for God and the divine that has been ignited or will be through the month of January. So freaking powerful for you. Wow, we also have scribe in the light attribute or upright position, preserving knowledge and information. Yeah, I feel like the things you've learned, I don't feel like you're going to forget. I really don't. And even from my own experience, like, how could you? Because it's like once you see, you can't unsee. Once you know, you can't unknow. Especially with things that are so profound and so life-changing, really. For some of you, you may even feel called to, write some kind of, I don't know, book or memoir or something about your experiences with this. Maybe not now, but ultimately. For others of you, I feel as though how do I say? It almost feels like, again, that energy of like, this is something I'm not going to forget. Like, I will never forget this. I don't feel like it's necessarily that you have written it down, but I do feel like it is written in your mind. It is ingrained, imprinted in your mind, and I don't feel like that's something that you're going to be able to let go of, right? For some of you, there's also this element of perhaps writing some kind of teaching, some kind of master class or workshop or something that really brings this through. I don't know why. For some of you, it almost feels like this something that's been ignited within you is this almost like it almost feels like you may have stumbled upon, if you will, a new position for yourself. And what I mean by that is you may have come to some kind of understanding that you are meant to be sharing what you've learned, what you've gained, how it has benefited you, or how it has helped you or supported you. Sharing that with other people. Again, which really brings me back to, this mentor energy as well. And this does go right along with Scorpio, the energy that I've been picking up on in my membership channel, where, I feel like God is really calling people to their assignments, to their positions, really trying to put people in their place in a way that they can be of service to humanity, to the collective at large. And that also aligns with the Pluto and Aquarius energy, right? Which is very much, this kind of reformative humanitarian energy, but it stems from the individual, right? So how can I use like my individual and unique skills and talents, wisdom, knowledge, gifts? How can I use that to be of service to others? So this may be something that's ignited within you, and you may be coming across like your purpose, your mission, right? The thing that really just makes, how do I say, really gives you this brand new perspective on life. Okay, we also have here the artist in the reverse or shadow attribute position, using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. It's really interesting because I feel like there's a certain level of like responsibility that's that's ignited with all of this, right? And I feel like part of that comes from the whole concept of understanding that you cannot force anyone to believe what you believe. You cannot force anyone to develop a strong connection with the divine or God, right? You really can't impart, I don't know, that's not the word. You, again, you really can't force anyone to experience this for themselves, right? There's an understanding that they have to do that for themselves. And I feel like this level of responsibility has been ignited with this understanding. It does say here in the light attribute, expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. So I feel like there's something here that is speaking to um, this, how do I say, maybe this coming into play, if you will, through the month of January was where it wasn't previously. Okay, which I've seen these sorts of things happen in my own experience, where people learn certain spiritual knowledge and they almost try to make other people believe what they do, or they get on this, for lack of better terms, kind of ego trip, like, I know more than you, I know better than you. um, and that is an abuse of that knowledge, truly. So I feel like this could be something that is being worked on through you through the month of January, where you're understanding. And here's the funny thing about it. Um, and I don't know if that this would resonate with everyone. But speaking symbolically, or expressing these experiences symbolically, or via like metaphor and things like this, often is the way that these things were taught, right? Because not everyone is in a position to gain this knowledge, and it can actually be detrimental to certain souls who are not ready for it. So I feel like there's something here that is being cultivated within you, where you may find yourself drawn to express these things through some form of artistry, whether that be, painting, sculpting, song, whatever it is. But again, this was in shadow, so I'm just going to show it to you in the upright so you can see for yourself. Um, but yeah, I feel like there could be something here where you're trying to create things. And again, I did get that kind of energy of perhaps creating some kind of mentorship, or something, masterclass or something along that nature. But I feel like there's something here where you could be using your artistic skills to convey certain messages, certain knowings, certain teachings. What is gaining momentum for you this month, Scorpio? The ever unfolding rose cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. Yeah, I really do feel that way for you, Scorpio. It really does feel that there's this openness, or this willingness, or this allowing that is, really gaining momentum. I do feel that there's also this understanding that whatever it is you've experienced, again, is not happening to you, but for you, to evolve you, to grow you. Which again, really, when you develop this strong connection with the divine, it really does create this freedom for you, this liberation, because you understand that when things are happening, you're not being punished. It's not meant to, be, how do I say it? It's not meant to, like, harm you. You're not being singled out. It's meant to grow you and evolve you, and it's what you need in order to do that, in order to evolve. If everything was easy, if everything stayed the same, we would not grow and evolve. And understanding that, again, creates this incredible freedom. It certainly is a weight lifted off one's shoulders, right? And I feel like God is just like, I'm kind of seeing it like a rock with a hammer and chisel, just kind of like tink, 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 and just really going at it, trying to get you to really break open, or crack open. And I feel like it would be I would not be surprised, Scorpio, if through January 2024 and beyond, because of course this is what is gaining momentum for you, I would not be surprised at all if you were to just come out of your shell, 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 more and more and more as we move forward. We also have here for you inner temple devotion. Tune into the portal of your heart. Yeah, I feel like there's this recognition, again, of that divine within you, of God within you, of Christ within you, of the angelic hierarchy, the spiritual hierarchy moving within you, for you, through you. And I feel like, again, like once you get a taste of that, truly, I feel like you just keep coming back for more. Even if you falter, you keep coming back for more because it just feels so incredible. And again, it's so hard to really convey. But I feel your understanding, or what is gaining momentum for you, is the understanding of how imperative it is to be tuning into your heart, to be aligning with your heart, right? That's where Christ lies, is in your heart. That's where God lies, the angels, right? And I feel like there's an understanding or an awareness that the more you tune into that, the more in tune you are with those spiritual realms, the spiritual hierarchies, the angelic hierarchies. And, I feel like another thing, again, that's gaining momentum is the devotion to that. I mean, there are people who experience this, like myself, for example, who ultimately, become or take on this perspective of, if God doesn't tell me to do it, I'm not doing it. If my intuition says we're not, guess what? We're not. And I feel like this could be something that is gaining momentum for you. We also have here, trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Yeah, I feel like you're learning how to trust yourself. I feel like you're learning how to trust your intuition, learning how to trust your heart, learning how to trust the path that is unfolding before you, even if you can't see the next step, which I feel like is a building upon this connection with the divine, this connection with your inner world. This is amazing, and I love this. If you are resonating with this, Scorpio, my good God, how exciting for you. It really is incredible. I feel like some of you before were maybe asking the question of like, what am I doing here? What's the purpose? Right? Things like this. I feel like you may have been asking yourself that. And, I feel like now that you're starting to kind of tune into God within you, I feel like that's, how do I say it? Some of you, again, may be coming into an awareness of what this is for you. But for others of you, it almost feels almost as though like whatever my purpose is, it's driven by God and I'm just going to trust it. So it's a more relaxed kind of energy. And I have a big smile on my face for you because just knowing what that feels like, I love that for you. I love that for anyone who finds themselves in that position. So what advice or messages will best support and serve you and your journey moving forward? New beginnings. Thank you, angels, for opening the doors to change. I am ready. I do feel like you're ready, Scorpio. I really, really do feel like you're ready. Because again, I feel like previously there may have been this, disconnect from self, right? This disconnect from the world around you, even perhaps. And with this coming through, and of course, Pluto making that big transition from Scorpio to, or pardon me, from Capricorn to, Aquarius, and Pluto being your ruler, I feel like it is that whole death and rebirth, evolution, transformation energy just really kicking in for you. And I do feel like there are doors that are opening. I mean, you have it here, right? You have two doorways here as well. So I certainly feel as though, you know, should you decide to move forward with that, I certainly feel that you're going to be supported. You're never alone, whether you believe that to be true or not. And, I feel like that support is only going to continue to flood in should you choose to step through that doorway. We also have here for you, Spirit Animal. Thank you, Animal Kingdom, for blessing my path with love. I don't know that this is necessarily for everyone, and certainly that goes without saying, being that it is a collective reading. But I do feel like there are some of you out there who may have been having dreams about certain animals, or you see certain animals repeatedly, or have been drawn to certain animals. And if that is true for you, I feel like looking into that a little bit more deeply, whether you do that via your intuition and, taking it back to God, or if you actually do physical research, on the web or in book or whatever. But I feel like if that's true for you, I feel like there's something there. There's something waiting to be shared with you. Interestingly enough, and some of you may feel some type of way about this. I know when I first started understanding this, it was a little bit okay. I gotta kind of like warm up to this idea, let it sink in. But there are many out there who believe and practice, telepathy with the animal kingdom. So, you could find yourself, if you are open to receiving messages, you may find that you could get downloads and messages, telepathically from certain animals that perhaps are drawn to you, or, that are around you or appear before you. So that may be something to explore. I know that's a little bit different for most people, but could be exciting. And there can be great wisdom and knowledge shared from the animal kingdom for us, certainly. We also have here for you balance. Thank you, angels, for bringing my life into balance. And I do feel that, if you are someone, for example, who does feel very grateful, and I do feel like there are some out there listening who do, express that. Express that. I feel like gratitude is a huge conductor of abundance. It's a huge conductor of love. It's a huge conductor of, seeing even more things to be grateful for in your experience. And so, I feel like if you're someone who feels as though, what has transpired for you leading up to and through the month of January, I feel like thanking the angelic hierarchies, the spiritual hierarchies, God, Christ, again, whatever you resonate with, I feel like that could be incredible for you. And I also feel, again, that there's this reminder that if you do ever find yourself out of balance or feeling out of sorts, that you can go back to the angels, right? You can go back to prayer. You can go back to God. You can sit and breathe. Thank you for bringing balance into my life. Beautiful, beautiful reading. This is a reading I would love to get personally, so I love this for you. I pray that something here has resonated for you, Scorpio, or has been valuable for you or provided some kind of confirmation for you in some way, shape, or form. I'm so very grateful for you sharing your time, your company, and your energy with me. It has been a pleasure to read for you. If something has indeed resonated, please do the YouTube things that I spoke of in the beginning of your reading. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment below. I love reading your comments, or share this content. It really does help get these valuable messages out to those who need them. So I'm so very grateful for that. I pray you have a beautiful, beautiful, expansive, empowering, transformative month. Take care of your growing, evolving, connected, empowered soul. Peace be with you and within you. And I hope to see you in another video. Bye.